it's Carrie here from the Female Entrepreneur Association, and welcome to another weekly dose of inspiration to build a successful business. So this week we are taking a trip down memory lane together. I am going to take you in the Wayback Machine, which is actually a real thing, which is really cool, and I'll show you how you can do it for yourself too. But I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you what the Female Entrepreneur Association's website was like when I first created it. It's not pretty, I'm telling you that now. And I'm also going to show you the first ever video I created, which is actually private on my YouTube account because it was definitely not my best performance. And the reason that I want to share these things with you is because it is just far too easy to get caught up comparing yourself to other people and thinking, oh my gosh, their site is so amazing, mine needs to be more amazing like theirs. Or just feeling like you're not good enough and you can't do it because you take a look around and you're just saying, oh my goodness, everyone's got it figured out. Their websites are amazing, their marketing is so polished, their videos are great, and it leaves you feeling awful. I hear this so often, and I even hear people saying to me things like, your website looks so amazing, your marketing seems so thought through, and I can tell you now, sometimes it really isn't thought through whatsoever. So I just wanted to come clean and tell you how it is for me, at least, because I do not have it figured out, and I think most people don't have it figured out. And the thing is, we all start at the beginning, every single one of us, which is often the place where we just don't have a clue what we're doing and we feel like we're stupid and blah 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 blah. You know, that's definitely where I started. And then I just kept taking steps forward, like little steps forward and forward and forward, until eventually I got to where I'm at today. And I think, you know, that's what most people do when they're on their mission to achieving something. However, there is this problem to, you know, want to take those steps forward, and you start taking those steps forward and then you stop. And you take a look around and then you think, oh my goodness, I am awful, I am not doing a very good job, her website's better than mine, she's doing this amazingly. And then you look inward at yourself and you think, I'm doing so terribly, like I'm not good enough, this is awful, this is rubbish, no one's ever going to like this. And then you stop and you freeze and you don't do anything and you start making progress, and maybe you even, you know, some people even think, I can't do this anymore because I am not good enough, and they stop doing it, which is terrible. And you know, sometimes I think about people and I think about some ideas they had like a few years ago, and I look at them now when they're not even doing that anymore. Maybe they've gone off and done something else, or they've got a job, or they're not following their dreams anymore because along their journey as they were taking those steps forward, they stopped and they looked around and then they felt like they just couldn't do it, and so they didn't carry on. And I can't help but think, where would they be now if they'd have just carried on taking those little steps forward, you know, consistently, and where would they be today? Then they would have probably achieved something incredible. So I want to take you into the Wayback Machine and show you what the Female Entrepreneur Association website first looked like, so you can be reassured that it wasn't all dancing, shining, happy, amazing, sparkly website. It actually looked pretty terrible. So this is where it all began. So we are now in the Wayback Machine, and if you want to do this for yourself, type into Google Wayback Machine, and then once you get onto the website you can enter your URL and then it will show you all the captures it has of your website. So welcome to the Female Entrepreneur Association back in January 2010. This is the very, very, very first version that I ever created of FEA. And as you can see, it doesn't look anything like it looks now, and in my personal opinion, it's pretty darn ugly. But I remember when I created this, I was so pleased with myself. I thought this was amazing, and I was just really happy to have created something. This was the beginning of my adventure. This was the beginning of my journey, and in fact, it took me a year to actually put all my ideas together around this and to get to the point where I put it out there, because things didn't even start to go. I didn't even focus on this properly, or things didn't go live until 2011. But this is where it started, right here, and with terrible images. But yeah, this was the beginning point for me, and it's really interesting with this Wayback Machine because then you can see how things have evolved over time. So if I go to September 2011, we'll be able to see what it looked like when I first launched it, I think. So here it is. This is what the website looked like when I put it out there in 2011. As you can see, it still looks nothing like how it looks today. And you know, again, I thought at the time this was amazing. I spent so much time making this graphic. I remember it, playing around with all these different things, and obviously
putting this all together. And like I just said, I thought this was so good. I was really impressed with myself. And obviously today I look back on it and think, oh my goodness, it really doesn't look that great. It doesn't really feel how it feels now. It hasn't, you know, the way the brand has grown and everything's grown, it's because it's happened over time and it's evolved. And back in 2011 or even 2010, I could never have really got to where it's at now at that point in time, because I didn't know, and it was just an evolution. And I think that's the whole point, is that we all have to start at the beginning. And so if we take a look at maybe what it looked like in 2013, you'll see it's evolving. It's evolving all the time. So here it is, April the 30th, 2013. This is the last site I had before the site we have now. And in fact, it was March of that year, March of 2013 was the first time I had ever created something to get like a lead magnet. So I created the Mission for March challenge, where people could download obviously a free goal setting and guidebook and planner. And I had evolved, I'd learned more, I'd put like a subscriber thing so people could actually subscribe, because back in the beginning I didn't do anything like that. And obviously it looks a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, so this is the site, and obviously if you go on the website now, it looks completely different again. And you have to remember that when you're looking at this website as it is today, it has been 4 years in the making. It didn't start off perfect. It started off at the beginning, and that is where every single one of us starts. You know, back when it didn't look very good and it wasn't very, you know, so let's be honest, it was pretty ugly, I just got on with doing the best I could with where I was at, and that is all I did. So that's what you have to do. You have to focus on your vision. Don't get distracted by other people's visions, and don't get caught up comparing yourself, because it never leads any place good. So just really bear all this in mind whenever you're having an off day, whenever you're comparing yourself, whenever you're taking a look at someone else's website and thinking this looks so amazing, and then comparing it to your own website. Remember that it started off somewhere, and that's good. That's good. Just be proud of where you're starting at, because it's a journey, and that is the most exciting part about it.
And the second thing that I want to show you is the first video I ever made.
Oh, look how happy I look.
Association. And I really wanted to create this video blog post to share with you some of the amazing things that I learned in Spain last week. So
I don't actually think I smiled once throughout this entire video, and it wasn't actually until quite a few videos later where I realised that I looked a tad miserable in my videos, and I realised that I really needed to up the ante and be a little bit more enthusiastic when I was recording, because how I come across on video is totally different to how I come across in real life. And so obviously I look miserable, and as you can see, this is a private video, which now only I can see it except for you in this video, because it wasn't exactly my best performance ever. But my point is this: I started at the beginning. When I was sat there making that video, I remember thinking in my head, what the hell am I doing? I felt like such an idiot. I didn't know what I was doing. I just got my laptop and I made this video. I was so stiff, and in fact I think for quite a lot of videos after that I was really, really stiff. It took me ages to feel comfortable, but that's where I got started, and then I kept it up because I committed to myself that I was going to make a video every single week. And so that is what I have done ever since that point. I made a video every week, and I forced myself to feel uncomfortable. I didn't look at what other people were doing and think, oh my gosh, their videos are amazing and mine are rubbish. I didn't even think that. I just focused on what I was doing, and yeah, I had doubts with the stuff I was putting out there, and looked at it and thought, oh my goodness, this is I look, you know, I feel uncomfortable, you know, whatever other negative things we can say about ourselves. But I didn't really compare myself to what other people were putting out there. I was focusing on the job that I was doing, and just focusing on being the best I could be in my videos. And that's why I wanted to share this with you. I wanted to show you, take this back and show you at the beginning how it was for me, because that's the point of this video. It's all about starting where you're at and just taking the steps you can take to move forward, and that's the best thing you can do.
But my point of sharing all this with you, and the point of this video, is this: we are all on our own journeys, and we all start at the beginning, in that place where you don't really have a clue what you're doing. And then you start to take steps forward, and sometimes they are the tiniest of steps, but you grow, you learn, you develop, you expand, and eventually you start to pave the path for yourself towards where you want to be, and then one day you end up where you actually wanted to be, which is amazing. And the problems set in when you start comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. That is when disaster sets in, because that's the moment where you start to feel like you're not good enough and that you can't do it. But you can do it, you can so do it. You can do it even more, especially if someone else has done it already, because if they can do it, it means 100% that you can do it too, with your own authentic style, with who you truly are. And that is the thing you have to remember. You have to focus on what you're doing, on your vision, and on being the best you can be with what you've got right now and where you're at right now. So be proud of what you create. Even if you think it's not as good as someone else's, be proud of it. You've got to own it. You've got to rock that stuff that you're creating. So if you ever do this, I'm sure we all do it. I know I'm guilty of it too, by the way. But if you do this, make a pledge to yourself today. Leave a comment below and make a pledge that you, from now on, are just going to focus on being the best you can be, and you're going to avoid comparing yourself to other people out there. So leave a comment and do that now. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I really hope it's inspired you to be the best you can be and to realise that we all start off at the beginning in clueless land. There are really no exceptions. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you are not a subscriber but you've enjoyed this video, then make sure you subscribe. You can subscribe below on the blog or subscribe over on the YouTube video, and I will see you next week for another dose of inspiration.